I saw you.
Yeah.
Hello.
I don't know if you say nothing.
I'm gonna take you.
Susan's like, I was like, well, you're not gonna. Yeah, right.
To the Zoom, go back to the Zoom, go back to the Zoom.
Because I have things I can try. I'm a bucket.
Hello? Blue seamless bullshit? Yeah.
I'm seeing, we can hear you. Not on mute. We should probably. No, it's time. It's sorry. Been chatting. Okay. So much. Does everybody have a?
My kid had adjusted this one after 11.
Thought you was getting it for you.
You know, he would have been a little disruptive.
But he might have some great ideas.
Fresh idea.
Spider-Man. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and bring the city council work session of October 29th, 2025 to order. And I will let the clerk call the roll. Mayor Smith? Here. Deborah Adams?
Here.
Aaron Hansen?
Here.
Casey Kinsman? Now we see him.
Here. I'm here.
Mike Mickelson, not yet. Wendy Rainey here. Kathy Sherman, not yet either. Dave Zastrow here. That is a form of council. Great, thank you. So our work session topic for tonight is the fiscal year 26 budget. And we've got some, for me, fiscal year 26 budget, general fund revenues and expenses. We've got some materials in the packet, a memo from the city manager. A summary of personnel reductions that have been made over the past 3 years, and the budget table for the fiscal year 26 proposed general fund. Yeah, so I think we're gonna turn it over to staff. Like Cheryl is poised and ready. That sounds like Sam, okay.
Yep, I'm just gonna, maybe try to highlight a couple things. Specifically, I'm gonna go over a couple things and then also, if you've already read it, good for you. We did evaluate revenue again. And we did some increases that we feel are responsible and will come through. So we raised sales tax, remote seller sales tax because it's been turning up, and we actually got 635,619 in fiscal year 24. We don't have a total number yet in 25, but it's looking good. And so we put it up to the same amount that we got in 24. We also put the fish revenue, raw fish tax up 100,000. $1 million is a 10-year average. We never saw a fish tax revenue quite so low as we did this year. Get it all at one time. And so we went back, did a little research. You know, their overall general outlook is positive. That'll be a more normal number. It was good across the board, across the state for fish harvest, so I feel pretty comfortable moving up that 100,000 to 1 million. And that's the only revenue that we increased. We have a lot of different cuts that we made, some of them pretty much dining, cemetery. With some, services, obviously services will be cut, but we wanted to keep enough. Dumps to hopefully clean it up for Memorial Day, Veterans Day, or not Veterans Day, but, 4th of July. That was a little big, department-wide one, and then, you guys can read all of those. I think the other big one that I wanna talk about is that we are not filling a currently filled position in fiscal year 26. It is unfunded, so we're letting off a person. Not fun, very hard. And every position we have is very important. So I did also want to say that we still are not over the hump at this point. We do not have a total sales tax. I cannot believe, I had no idea, just because I never paid that much attention to it, but people wait till the last day to pay their sales tax. So we're still down 1.5 million from the fiscal year 26 goal, which is 4.5 million, which is way down from the fiscal 25 year goal. So still have some concerns there. We are also working on insurance. They call it shopping. We have some preliminary results, so we will know more then. I think at the November 5th meeting, we will definitely know the sales tax. I'm hoping that we will have a good decision and a good path forward with the insurance. So with those two things in place, we're pretty solid.
Balanced budget tonight, but yeah, those two things are big items that could change that forecast at the November 5th meeting.
The sales tax, obviously, I mean, it would be amazing if we got 1.6 million, but I don't know, but. So, I guess other than that, we are here to answer any questions that you might have, or any things like that. We've spent a lot of time staring at spreadsheets and numbers.
So. So the sales tax.
Within the spreadsheet, everything that we changed is highlighted in yellow, if that's
Right.
helpful.
I'm just looking at. Is the number, it said we'll provide the updated
Yeah,
25 year-to-date sales tax numbers at the work section.
in the packet, it was 3,042,000. I just ran it right before the meeting, and as of today, it's 3,094,000. So we haven't seen.
People really are waiting too long.
Yeah, you know, we have some larger filers that looking at the larger filers. I still fully anticipate that we'll receive them in the next few days.
Yeah.
So,
Just looking for any little shred of positivity. That's it. I don't, that work. Thank you. Okay, so we have the proposed budget changes on pages 2 and 3, and then like Cheryl and Sam said, the yellow highlight yellow in the budget table is highlighting those changes.
the round 3 changes.
The round 3 changes.
Did we, I can't remember if I wrote that, but we did do the bringing money back into the.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cordova Family Resource Center. We have that highlighted, I believe, in here.
And what page is that on?
Page
Maybe it's for the, yeah.
Yeah.
Other funds.
27. If you want to talk about in kind.
Oh. Yeah, so we put 10,000 back in, I did have a conversation with Nicole, and in-kind is also helpful to show support, including, like when the police and the fire help with Girls on the Run and those other events, those are also able to be shown. So we would have the opportunity to do in kind. So we can,
Just show more of the community support.
yeah, do in kind.
And so that line item will show up in the next round, November 5th packet.
Can I ask you about the line item that's in here now for the chamber? It says that we budgeted 70,000 for 2025. And so far, we've only conveyed half of that. Really?
It's, we make the payments based on their requests, and I do recall last year about this time, we had only received 1 quarter's worth of requests so far, and then I think it's heavy on the end of their year that we expect to see those requests.
Okay. So it comes in toward the end of the year rather than the beginning.
It seems to be, yeah.
I was gonna ask too, if you could clarify, this is, I don't, maybe we've talked about it before, but the ski hill and water service, does the city provide that in kind? Do they pay for it? Is that?
We are contracted to provide water. They recently put that snowmaker in
With the meter,
with the meter and, yeah, they submit that at times. We usually only pay what we pass in the budget. In my recollection of doing that, when I was the planner, it was under that the city will not pay for snowmaking, but previous city managers have waived that.
Have waived it, so I'm saying, okay, so,
We've been paying up to the amount that's in the past budget. If it goes above beyond that,
that's why it hasn't been clear, okay?
Madam Mayor, may I ask a question?
Yes, Councilmember Adams.
If we are talking about the ski hill, I've gotten a couple of phone calls about, from concerned people about the ski hill. And, why are we not funding the repair and maintenance at all? I mean, the obvious reason, yes, to balance the budget, but, down to 0 from 10,000.
we are not contracted to do that, so that is one item that we could reduce within there. We have funded that for many years at $25,000 or $20,000. And we're asking them to participate in this by not asking, by cutting, I guess, I don't know if I'm asking them to participate, but, by cutting it to 0.
So I guess my follow-up question is, as it's my understanding that the city owns the towers and owns the hardware, and it's the ski hill's responsibility to take care of it then by reducing it to 0. Just trying to get information.
The city buildings, I guess I'm not sure on the towers. But all of the maintenance bills that have been in the past have been building related. And we just recently, maybe 4 years ago, did $80,000 or $90,000 for the, no, that's
The cable.
the cable, for the chairs. Yeah. I let them know that the budget, what was coming, that we were asking, invited them to the meeting. I've asked them to come and do their report and work it out with Susan. So they are fully aware of what's going on.
Okay, thank you for that.
You have a question?
Yes, those are hands.
So if I understand this correctly, the intent, I know we don't know exactly where the pool stands as of today. Is that correct? As far as repairs and.
So Peterson's is working on it, I'm not sure where that's at. And then the company that did the liner will have to come back to redo the liner, yes, but we do not have an opening date.
So in here, it states that there is budgeted for 10 employees for the pool. Did I read that correctly?
There are. And the temp employees move back and forth between the darky and the pool. And once the pool is back up. Oh, you are, come on up, and can you talk about the temp employees, because they'll be doing lifeguarding. Training and that kind of stuff. We spread out in the place.
Everyone, so the pool, Peterson's is finished with the pool, they pressure tested it, pipe and then we did after. So now we're just waiting for the lining company to come in and fix it, so we're looking at mid-December for that, we've scheduled it, and signed a contract, and that's to come in. So, it's looking at, and then we'll do some lifeguard training, as far as temps, the budget has been cut significantly, for those temps, we use them for the school swim program, for, the ice burn program, for the swim team, and then for, just supplemental.
Yeah. One question on that. So when you guys do your lifeguard training, would there be room for parents that were willing to volunteer to lifeguard?
Absolutely, so I've had that done in the past where, we've had, I think I was the only lifeguard at the time, where a few people have stepped up to, volunteer to do that, to take the training, and then, I always invite everyone back for in-service training, for, just everything, I keep them included in it. And that way, if they do have time to volunteer, it supplements our time, so, yeah, you do the training and, you know, you're on the call list.
And you usually put that out to the public.
I do, yes. Yeah, so, and if the training hopefully will be ready as soon as we get it full up and going, so. In January at some point, so we can do about 10 people at a time. So I encourage everyone, that's what's gonna happen a lot this year, so we're gonna see a drastic change in that.
I was just making sure that you all start to get the pool and then, you know, you don't have any people that keep it open. I understand you guys are in a very difficult position. There's so many things and we put the faith in all the department heads and you guys to make hard decisions and bring us the numbers. One of my concerns, and I'm not saying that it's changed, but you know, I have a lot of star boxes on here where you guys have to sacrifice the maintenance budget to pay for personnel. And that's a fine line to walk because there are a lot of consequences that come from deferred maintenance. And right here, the Parks and Recs maintenance, and I know that they're overwhelmed and, you know, there's no temp employees to help with keeping everything up and going, so. That's what I think.
I think the one good thing that the city has is departments that work well together. And share a lot of things, streets is crucial to helping other departments with the equipment. Water did so much with the pool. And we try to do that whenever we can. And it helps, but yeah. It's hard to defer maintenance, and it is a fine line. And to call that. In a hard line.
Yeah.
Yeah, Councilman Sestra.
Looking at the revenue sheet, just a question, I don't know that we discussed this or last, meeting, we're looking at revenue, but the North Harbor Hill lease and the other land leases are down from 25, not significantly, but.
We did briefly go over that. The total area for leases and rents have increased. We reviewed where payments were getting voted to and, feel like this is a true reflection of which leases should be going into each of those categories. So they kind of shifted a little bit. But overall, leases and rents increased. That answer.
Sure,
Okay, some of the leases, I guess, to be just blunt, we're probably ending up in categories that they shouldn't have been in. So we, between planning and public works and finance, we kind of honed that into where we're accounting for them in the appropriate line items.
So we didn't go down by that much revenue, it's just being accounted for.
Correct, yeah.
Bottom line number looks like it's up from 25's budget, right?
Right.
421 to 449.
Other building leases up significantly.
Oh, you're looking at. How about that?
Leases and rent. One of the things I'm struggling with actually is that you've done, I have to say, is a lot of tough decisions here you've had to make. A lot of cutting back, everybody's taking it pretty hard. One of the things I'm struggling with in the other categories is the Chamber of Commerce. Was it 70? We put it at 0. That feels a little overwhelming for an entity to be hit that hard to go from that much to absolute 0. I'm not sure what could be done there. There's a way to I feel like you've worked through this pretty hard. And I just can't imagine being able to operate at that amount and being asked to go to 0 in one fell swoop. Seems pretty harsh.
Well, it is harsh.
Yeah.
And our reality is harsh too. We were asked to do 1.5 million. I mean, the feds in the state cut us $1 million in one foul swoop. I mean, I agree, but I don't know I don't have any suggestions to fund that. I mean, we are eliminating positions, we're not filling positions. We don't even know if we're done, if we're gonna make sales tax revenue. Well, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't feel like we can add cost back into that. It's gonna be at the cost of something or someone. So our core work has to get done too.
Absolutely. Don't disagree at all. And these are all super hard decisions. I would like to see something go back.
What do you wanna give up?
No, I mean, that's something that I would ask you and staff to go back and look at again.
I think we have to wait until we know what the sales tax is.
And that's fine. That's fine.
If we have to make those, I mean, I'm not supposed to have an opinion, but we do have more time.
And that's fine.
Before we make a final decision.
But I also want to say, maintenance, O&M, I mean, are you prioritizing, I mean, I guess, it's your decision. But as a person who's supposed to be making sure things are running at the city, there's a lot of places that were cut more than $70,000. They still have money in the bank. Okay.
They're all hard decisions. You're right, it's all difficult. Everybody's taking a hard hit. It's another hard hit. We are not at a final revenue right now. We don't know all the numbers just yet. I'd like to at least leave it open for discussion.
We can talk about it on the 5th.
We can just see the sales numbers for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't.
Madam Mayor, if there's an
Yes.
opportunity,
Yeah, Councilmember Adams.
If I remember from the last, and I do share Councilman Zastro's concerns about that severe cut to the chamber, and that and I agree, Sam, that other departments have asked to cut more than 70,000, but it's that 70,000 is a larger percentage of the actual budget for the chamber than 70,000 versus a department. But and last week when we had our previous work session, I think you told me that there's 7 million in our permanent fund. Is that correct?
Yes,
And maybe it's time to tap into some of it to return a little bit back to the chamber, maybe half. And I'm thinking that, we can reimburse that fund if raw fish tax next year is going to be healthier. And that's just a suggestion. I mean, why do we have a $7 million contingency fund? If we're not going to, maybe this is the contingency.
and I guess I'm just gonna say, and what do we do the year after? Forest receipts probably are not coming back. I mean, we've had discussions about living within our means. And yet. I don't think we really are. I mean, we need to. To
I
stay
think-
focused.
I think that though, I mean, that point being said, if we do put half of it back in 2026, there has to be an understanding that there's not gonna be anything budgeted for 2027. It just gives her a little bit more time to find funding elsewhere instead of taking the single hit of 70,000. But, I understand that. I mean, that has to be a contingency. There has to be a measurable amount of income to be shown, and there can't be anything after this.
Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Kinsman.
Yes, since we're on the chamber conversation, I would be in favor of adding in 35,000. And moving forward, we are then setting a precedence that a percentage of the public accommodation surtax is what would fund the Chamber of Commerce. Right now, 35,000 is 22%. That's what the equation is.
22% of the tax.
Right, yeah, right from the current number. And I don't know if we're expecting additional revenue to come into that, but at year to date, 158,319. And if we're allocating $35,000 to the chamber, that would be 22.1%.
And we're cutting the city budget that we're now using.
Well, and that's my understanding, and looking back at some historic stuff, that there was an understanding that part of that public accommodations would go to fund the chamber.
That's a $35,000 cut, and then on top of that, you're cutting 22%. I'm not willing to take that tax over until there's a measurable record of what the chamber is bringing in. I mean, there's nothing definitive. Yes, we all agree the chamber is ready for Cordova, but it's one thing to say that, and it's another thing to take a percentage of a tax and equate it to something without having a measurable way to define that.
Right, we did talk about that at the last meeting, the need for an MOU or an MOA that spells all those things out.
And
You know, what are the metrics?
Something, but
Right.
I mean, that's,
It gives us the opportunity to spend time setting that up.
Mhm.
We don't have, if you wanna take $35,000 out of permanent fund, take 7 votes. We can do that. We'll write an ordinance.
you can't fund operations with permanent fund,
Yeah, that's,
in a budget.
Okay, I think that's off the table.
I wouldn't support necessarily going after permanent fund.
But you want to cut 35,000 more out of this budget? Oh, I'm just giving you the hard fact that I have to go and deal with.
I think we need to wait and see what revenues come out at, and then take another look at it and see what we can do. My only point was I didn't want it to be a final decision tonight, to say this is where we're gonna land.
Well, I'm fully aware that it's not gonna be a final decision because we don't have a final
Right.
count on revenue. That's why I said the November 5th meeting.
And I add, okay. Like, my idea of us looking at sales tax when it does come in 2 days. I'm thinking it's gonna be worse.
Yeah.
I'm not hopeful about this, and it makes me sick to my stomach to say that, but I do wanna be very clear, I'm not hopeful.
You're realistic.
So November 5th isn't gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be harder.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilmember Kinsman.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, wait, oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Kinsman.
You know what? I think I agree with a lot of what's been said. I understand that we're having a challenging time. Multiple local leaders have come up to me and suggested a 2-year budget cycle because it takes away some of the time the staff is spending. And I don't know if this is the time to talk about that or not. I mean, I realize there's a lot of things at stake there, but I just wanted to put it on the record. Additionally, I agree with what was said about the chamber. If they're not able to actually show what they're producing, we should look at their funding. But at this point, I also agree making a severe chop right now may not be the best move because they've suggested that they're bringing in income for our community. There's certainly some indicators that look that way, but we need to give them one more chance and say, hey, you know, here's the writing on the wall, but let's give them some time to deal with it, would be my thought. And I understand if we're behind, we're going to have to make some more cuts, but cutting something that generates revenue for the city seems like the wrong path when we have things that don't generate revenue for the city.
You do understand that revenue is down. And we wanna put $35,000 back into it is gonna be services and people. We have cut O&M. And we'll try to go back and do some, but I just. You know, at some point. I mean, we're already having discussions about maybe the pool not being open as much as it has been in the past. And these are people who work and get paid for by the city. We are cutting, giving back and taking away from our own budget.
Madam Mayor, this is Councilmember Kinsman.
Yes, go ahead, Councilmember Kinsman.
Thank you, Sam, for the insight. It's the hard truth, and I hope the public's listening to this and can have some input, because I've heard input also. But this form, or really November 5th form, is an opportunity for them to have their voices heard. But going back to the chamber, we cut $40,000 last year, and this year, what we're showing in this, reflected in this revision of the budget, is cutting $70,000. So 100%. If we're looking at percentages, that's 100%. And I can't agree with the chamber bringing nothing to our revenue. That's not accurate. They bring something, and I agree. We need to quantify what that is and which bucket is the best representation. I think public accommodation surtax is. I think historically, with the way it was set up, there is something there that the chamber brings and contributes. But it really should be, to me, a percentage, because then it's year over year and we can quantify and we can look at it. If we're down, then they still, if the number is 20%, then they get 20% of whatever this is. Or maybe it's multiple things. Maybe they bring in some of the sales tax and they need 2% or 3% of the sales tax. They bring something to the table. Us cutting them is us saying to everyone out there that Cordova Cordova City is not supporting business. That's what it's saying. Not saying that's what we actually believe, but with our money, that's what we're saying. So that's my, I guess, final thought on that.
Thank you, Councilmember Kinsman. I just want to say too that, it's my understanding that we're not actually gonna adopt a budget until December. Is that right? I mean, I know we might not get tons more information in terms of revenue, but it does give us more time to chew through this, which it sounds like there's a lot of.
Well, we also have enterprise funds to work through, fee schedules.
Yeah.
It's November fifth.
I know, but I'm saying that a lot of the work happens outside of these meetings. People are thinking, people are talking to people, so, I mean, I don't know that we have to commit to anything tonight or even next week, but.
Well, I will say that we asked very straightforward at the last meeting that you commit to these cuts. You agree to them. We move forward with that. So now we're going backwards. And as far as revenue generation, you know, the position that's not being funded also created revenue. Grants. Everybody contributes to the revenue of the city in one form or another. And I guess I do like, it's not that I hate the chamber or that I don't like it, but we have to be able to do our jobs. And I understand that Kathy also needs to do her job, but she has a revenue source. She collects fees. People pay to be chamber members, you know, and,
Budget, yeah.
well, but it's still a revenue source, you know,
But
so is there other things that could be done? I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like we're forgetting also what the employees do to raise revenue. And I think in fairness, it all should be considered if you want to do that, looking at it that way.
Yeah, no, that's good. Madam Respected, Councilmember Sherman, representing Councilmember Lee. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I apologize for missing last week's meeting, but, last. Um. I do agree with Councilor Mickelson that we cannot cut departments that bring us in revenue, and they all bring us revenue in some sort of fashion. But we also can't cut our departments so that we can't do the maintenance, and not provide services that the community wants. And the services the community wants are the pool. They want safe streets, they want safety, they want the darky. There still are things I think we could cut, but at what cost to the community? You could shut the library down for a good amount of time, you could shut the museum down. We were always on the chopping block before. You could cut all the travel from the departments that's non-essential. That's about $15,000 just looking at it there, but that, again, it doesn't benefit the employees or help the community by, you know, nickel and diming each department to death. Because then you're also ruining morale and dedication and good employees. I am not anti-chamber. I worked for the chamber. The chamber and the city were always separate until after the oil spill. Even then, they were separate after the oil spill. I don't know, I cannot remember when we started providing funds to the chamber, but it is supposed to be operated by the business community, and this is the national setup in the country to support government and work with government, but it's business and municipalities. And, you know, we've cut the hospital, we've cut the schools, we've cut the ski hill. I mean, We cut cemetery maintenance again. I mean, this is just to me. I mean, I think even giving money to CFRC is kind of a stretch for us right now, because as good as all these entities are, we can't sustain ourselves. So I just wanna say that I think staff made it very clear to us when we started the budget process that they did wanna have the budget done by early December. I mean, this whole budget process sucks that we have to do it in the holiday season anyway. And, I've always disagreed with that. But we need to understand this, that when we give direction to the manager and to staff, they take it. We can't keep coming back and saying, oh no, I changed my mind. You know, because it's not fair. It's not fair to the people who are being affected, and it's not fair to staff and direction the manager. So I'm quite comfortable with what we have now. I guess if people want to fund the chamber, I will say, and I will propose it, that we cut back library hours and museum hours. That would be what I see having us having to do.
Well, I mean, basically, that's a position.
Yeah, I know that, Sam, I know.
So I just wanna say that,
Yeah,
I want.
$70,000 is a position. Yeah.
It's not even a full position.
No, it's not even, but.
Madam Mayor,
Oh, hold it, Councilmember Rainey and then Councilmember Adams.
I mean, we're to the position now where we're at health and safety. I mean, you look at this second round of cuts and the page with the most cuts on it, that's law enforcement. So CFRC is life and safety. The things that they do for this community are health and safety related. The police department is health and safety. You know, we're to that point. We're to the point where we're talking about health and safety, and the chamber's not health and safety. And if we're willing to cut this much out of the law enforcement budget, I'm not willing to put $35,000 back into the chamber. It's to that point. I'm also comfortable with where this is because I know it's gonna change again. And it's a hard decision. I participate in chamber functions. I do enjoy what the chamber does for us. I also remember when the chamber was run by one person. You know, it's not an easy decision, but we're down to health and safety at this point. We're cutting health and safety. We're cutting positions. There's nothing else there. I'm not willing to forgo the community library and museum and what it offers now for this community going into winter. I'm not willing to cut that to fund the chamber. If that's the decisions we're coming down to, then I'm not willing to make that decision. I'm not willing to make that decision for this community.
Councilmember Adams and then Zastro. Councilmember Adams.
I guess I just have a quick question because I'm trying to understand where money comes from, where money goes, how it's allocated, and what we are allowed to move around. With 7 million in a permanent fund, what can that money be used for? I think I heard that it cannot be put in for operations. So I'd like to understand what our permanent fund money can be allocated for.
We have funded capital budgets out of the permanent fund in the past.
I mean,
haven't thought about capital this year.
no, I've been talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to. I really don't know. I've always known it as a capital thing, or if we end up in some insane tsunami, you know, it's a way to keep the city rolling if that's where we end up.
And do we budget interest from it into the general fund?
No.
No.
Because
And we
we
cannot do
invested.
Get back in the permanent.
Oh, it stays in and it gets reinvested.
But I've always heard, well, not always, but I remember in the late nineties, early 2000s, there was, because the city was broke after the oil spill, right, nothing. And at the time, people were saying that the goal was to build up a reserve that was half of, a year's worth of operating expenses.
That's the general fund. That's what we
We
should
used to
have,
say 3 to 6 months of reserves in the general fund.
not the permanent.
But we didn't have any permanent fund at that point
Oh,
either,
really?
right?
I don't know.
So understandable.
Yeah.
But we haven't had that in the general fund reserves in a while.
Right.
I mean, that's for things like when the garbage truck crashes and you still need to pick up garbage, that's what that's for. Yeah, or the water system.
Infrastructure. Right.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I don't disagree with anything that Councilmember Rainey has just said about basic services, law enforcement, everything. Absolutely, those are priority. Clean water, safe streets. No, the EMS is functional. Absolutely. I guess we've been talking about the chamber is something that we don't have any quantifiable numbers on what the value is. But I'm sure that if we do zero out their funding for operations, there will be a loss, whatever that is. They're not gonna be able to do whatever level of services they have to do.
Right.
And I think to know what those effects are, we should be aware of that. We should be aware of those effects are as we make our decision. That's all I'm saying. We know what the effects are on these other cuts that have happened. You know very well what those effects are as manager. But I think we should be well aware what the effects are for what the chamber provides. We make that decision to zero them out. What does that really mean for the next
I
year?
think you could quantify the Shorebird Festival alone. We could ask the chamber for numbers on that. I mean, that's,
But is that only done, I mean, okay, first of
Yeah,
all,
but that
what
doesn't.
is their operational budget?
oh, it sure does. Lodging, people,
No,
But-
I'm saying that doesn't bring the 35,000 to the city that we
not
need to
in
put back
addition,
in.
no, but
And it's not zero. They still get in kind and they get a building and they get support that way. It's, you know, we're taking these other things to absolutely zero.
Right. But I think, yeah, okay.
But again, yeah. What's the effect on festivals and events? Other areas that the council's been working with over the last years to increase revenue. Yes, I mean, we don't have those numbers, but there will definitely be a effect at some sort. And I think there's some, I think we probably with council, with the chamber input, we would know exactly what those effects might be. We just need to be prepared. We decided to keep it at zero. There's going to be effects, so we need to be able to address that.
We put back in and then will also be,
I'm sorry.
and if it goes back in, there will also be effects.
Absolutely, absolutely, right.
I also disagree that we're zeroing out her operation budget. She has income.
Right, it's not,
We are not zeroing out her operation budget. Let's just make that clear.
we are doing in kind for space and for.
Right, and she collects revenue.
Right, no, I understand all that. I understand. But what's coming from the city, is being zeroed out, will that cover that?
So I may have misspoke on the permanent fund thing. Leif is saying that we have used it in the past, but not in a while. And I feel like if anything, I like when we use it the other way. If there's excess revenue and we put money into general fund reserve as a transfer. To have a balanced budget, I mean, we've done that before.
Yeah, we
But
can-
I guess if you can do operating, I don't know exactly, it's just a transfer from the permanent fund into revenue, but what a slippery slope that is. When does that
I
end?
really wanna open that door. Cause then next year it's what? Next year we take what out of what?
There's a reason, it's supposed to be balanced revenues to expenses. Go into savings for that. Wait till you retire for that. Oh, the city doesn't retire.
further comments, either from people in the room or online on this topic? Do people have questions for staff on some of the other changes that have been proposed?
Streets. I have a question, the streets, the 6 staff for public works and streets, they rotate through other departments, correct? Like, so there's 6. I mean, there's
4 operators, 2 mechanics, there's 7,
That's what they're.
and then the superintendent.
okay. And is that water and street maintenance?
Water and sewer have their own crew,
They have their own group, okay.
and refuse has their own crew.
And then those are not in
The-
general fund.
enterprise.
They're enterprise, okay.
The mechanics work for all departments,
Okay.
much like streets.
Right.
They do the streets, obviously, but they also do work for other departments.
So the costs are shared out.
No,
And for general fund, it's general
right,
fund.
right.
We do see the benefit of them throughout.
Yeah.
The city as a whole.
This was very helpful, the tier layout of positions. I think that was very helpful to look at, and I think oversimplified to take it into a 1-page memo, but it helps when you're looking at the big picture.
And our streets and equipment operators, we're supporting, we talked about this last time, we're supporting the state to a certain degree, or are you trying to help them out with some of their needs?
we always have had a working relationship with the state, and yes, we help them out when we can, and they help us out when they,
When they have staff.
But, I did talk with Robbie today, and they do have a contract for help with winter snow. So that's really good. They did grade the road. I don't know if anybody's been out the road.
They did, yeah.
And Power Creek. He's hoping that he'll have some employees. So. He does have people, rotating in from different places out of DOT.
So he just can't find anybody to take the job, the jobs are there, and he just can't fill them, that's where we're at with that, okay.
State is not inventing right now, I think. In terms of not only retirement and.
I don't know. I mean, they do offer, they do have, you mean a defined pension,
Yeah.
or no, wait,
Fund benefit.
benefit, yeah. But I don't know if the state can work on this.
It's tier 4 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do have a 401k.
I have no.
Wayshed Road looks great. I don't know that, the chip sealing is awesome.
Right, Shed?
Where?
Oh, that's great.
That was,
Yeah,
yeah, that's not chips.
not
sealing.
to, right, okay.
That was done when,
Yeah.
UTI, I guess, had some. I can't remember who was coming in, but somebody came in with payment and Robbie was able to, was it UTI?
It was when they were doing the patch for the harbor.
Oh, yes, okay.
Left it down there.
Not bad, just like-
He said it, yes, there was some temperature issues, with just, it's a tough thing to do because you're pulling it off a barge, you're driving it to wherever it needs to be in asphalt. Has rules about how it needs things.
Darn that asphalt.
Speaking of chip seal, we don't have it in the budget for next
Yeah, right now chip seal on the budget.
For another serve.
Another maintenance.
year.
Councilmember Sherman?
Right, I was just gonna, I just wanna reiterate to all of us and to the public. We've sat here for years and I'm just thinking, I'm almost up to 6 years now, and I can see mistakes that have been made in the past with our budgeting and our managers who have led us astray in terms of, we can spend more and do this and do that, and And then we had COVID, and that changed everything. And now we have, a lack of federal and state dollars. Due to changes in administration, changes in rules. And you know, when I reflect back on when I got to be museum and library director, and there were so many funds out there to choose from, I could easily say, sure, I don't need this money. Cut our budget. And there's nothing now. There is nothing. The library just asked the friends of the library to buy books for them. So, I mean, it's a different world we're living in, and I will be the first to say, I think cities made mistakes in the past. But I think we have done on this budget in particular such a badass job of, and I mean that good, that, you know, of trying to live within our means and trying to make it work as best we can without, and we are almost cut to the bone. And everybody still wants services and still wants good roads and still wants everything plowed. And, you know, I think people just need to, the community as a whole needs to understand this is what it is right now. This is what it is right now. And I don't see a bright future either. I guess I'm a little pessimistic. But I don't think that means we should dip into our savings. Permanent funding.
So what I'm hearing is a lot of, concern for the fiscal reality we face and the need not to cut staff or services to the point where they can't do their jobs or we don't have enough people to do the work. And we don't think the picture is gonna improve significantly in the next 4 weeks. We don't have to, tonight is a work session, we're not making a decision, but although the city manager did reiterate that's absolutely correct, that she said, can you commit to these cuts? The last time we met, and we've agreed to them, so anyway, I don't see a resolution tonight, I see this is a very, very difficult time. And, city manager has already made some tough decisions that have affected, our staff level. So that's just a summary. I don't have a solution to offer. I'm just trying to take stock of where we are. And, I'm open to questions, suggestions. But not just me, I think the council. And I guess this is also an opportunity. Apparently people are listening at home. We've heard from one so far, but we welcome the public's input. You know, if people would like to come to meetings, that we have another meeting next week, if people want to come make suggestions or express their preferences, it would be great to have the public weigh in. So if you're listening, please join us. And please tell your friends and neighbors.
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, Councilmember Kinsman.
Thank you. That was a great summary. And a great work from staff on this difficult decisions. I think along a couple points. One, along the lines of public, please, let's hear what you would like to see funded. But with that, come with the same note of what you would like to see cut, because a funding of something means a cut to something. That's what it is. We're at the point where it's a 1-for-1. If we do this, then we have to cut this. That's just our reality. And I do want on the record to be known that I made pretty much the same comments I made tonight. I made last work session as well, as far as funding for the chamber. So I know that's not the council's overall stance on it. We had a different stance overall as the council, but these comments are the same that I made. Thank you.
Anybody else online? Have anything to add? Anyone?
I'm cutting in and out of service here. Out of there, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just barely. Go ahead if you can, Mike.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
You're really broken up. And now we've got nothing. Sorry.
Comments here, can hear me good.
We didn't get any of that, Mike.
Try that again. I'm sorry, Mike, it's not coming through. I don't know if. Are you driving? Are you? I was just gonna say, if you have any, I don't know if you have access to your keyboard, if it's possible to type anything into the chat. That's the only other thing I can think of at the moment. Unless you wanna text the clerk and have her relay comments. Yeah. Um. So, any other comments? From council members at the table?
I would be in favor of Mike's suggestion that we discuss a 2-year budget cycle.
Oh,
I don't know. Just throwing that out there. I like that. Thought that we should have the discussion.
okay,
At some point, not now.
yeah, right.
But I'm curious, has that ever been part of the Cordova history? I look at you, I'm sorry.
No, it's mentioned every year or two.
Yeah, I think way in the past it was,
Yeah.
like, in the 40s,
Oh, wow.
when the budget was, $90,000. I would be in favor of discussing a July 1 to June
Oh,
30
they're bringing in line with.
calendar year. Make it easier for us working with the school, the state. Yeah.
Right.
Get away from the holidays.
And get away from the holidays.
All into those, some,
The summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the
Yeah.
hard
But
part.
if we,
Yeah.
yes, and I understand and I agree, and we never had the audits either, but it's just horrible this time of year, yeah.
When would it be better? If we're on a different fiscal year, it's gonna be June. Who's gonna be here for that?
Yeah, but, well, we would start earlier, just like we'd start in March.
But, well, then we'd have. Yeah.
Then we have to start March, to be done by June.
Yeah.
I mean, we started in what,
It's
September.
July 1 start date, so we'd be approving it in June. And then you really only have 1 quarter to work with. Of sales tax, I guess you clarify last the year before, because your years then.
Well, so there's 2 possible ideas. Do your budget cycle and. We could talk about the pros and cons of changing the fiscal year, see if they. If one, always. How that balances out. Are there any final comments from staff that you wanna make?
Well, just thinking about, depending on where the sales tax comes in, you want me to bring you a 0 budget? Or you wanna talk about it?
I think you should bring us a 0 budget.
I think the hardest thing that for me was that if we do that and it's bad, and the tax is bad, then it's people. which is the way it is, I guess, unfortunately, but I don't wanna go, I wanna go through that if there's not gonna be support. I mean, I don't know what anybody thinks that we can do to change that. But, we need to all be a group, because I'm not pushing that out.
You can't pull it back once you push that.
If it's not gonna bring us a budget with the deficit.
I don't, is it?
I don't know what to do. I mean, we have an open discussion again.
But today is Wednesday, and packets have to go out by Friday. Yep. So is that even possible for next Wednesday, or should we?
So we've been putting the work session packets out on the Monday, usually.
So we'll do it this weekend again. Okay.
Oh, I was gonna say, there's also the 19th, right? And that's.
We have to do.
Yeah, it's pushing it on.
Enterprise and
Read it.
schedule.
Yeah.
It's on there.
Okay.
And then, is it the next weekend, Thanksgiving?
Yes, we can have it on the calendar to do the 12th also, but between the 12th and the 19th with fee schedules in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and every week is when, you're right, it starts getting hard, because when do you even do the work to get it out for the next week?
Mhm.
Well, we've done it every week for the last month and a half.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I
Hear
just,
that out.
we'll, look at it and see where we land. I mean, I'm hoping that somehow we can, if it's a small enough deficit, we can figure it out. And I don't know what that looks like.
Are you back, Mike?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to say at the next council meeting, I'll have come and update on some of the things that happened at the United Fisheries Alaska meeting that will provide some positive ramifications for the city budget. And I'd just like to thank staff for putting this together, being patient with me since this is my first budget cycle. But yeah, I just think we're hopefully it's not a worst case scenario, but we're gonna have to plan for if it is, I guess. But we'll cross that bridge here in a couple days. Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to the fisheries updates. Did you get to say what you wanted to say? I didn't even cut you off or anything.
I think that's enough. Pretty clear on my feelings, I'm sure.
Any further comments? Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Kinsman.
yeah, just for clarification, do we have a work session before the November 5th public meeting? And, or do we need to have one for just an update on everything?
I think we do have one.
It's scheduled.
Yeah.
And I say we need it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was looking at the calendar right and following the conversation. So thank you.
And there's a public hearing and a heavy agenda for the regular meeting.
When's is the?
Two guest speakers, the audit on the 5th.
Yeah.
And DOT on the ferry projects on the 5th.
Multiple landfills.
Multiple land sale items, that's that couple of ordinances.
Yeah, I guess.
So we're starting at 5:30 for the work session?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, I don't know what we're gonna look like, so. I also, we might need to do a special meeting. Dolly's getting her soil out of here. If we tag on with her, we can get a substantial contaminated soil, with contaminated soil from the
Spill on the lake.
yeah, water treatment plants, oil tank leaking. He's starting to.
Kevin was like, "Oh, I said that."
And so if we pony up with her, we can get it out cheaper. It's still a lot. Cheryl and I have been talking about it and we have an idea for a way to pay for it.
Does it help her?
It does help her. It potentially, yeah, the more that goes, the cheaper it gets, but it is not cheap.
Not too bad, but
Yeah, and unfortunately for her, she also has some that has to go down south.
Yes.
I don't know what they do with the ones that go down south, cause it's lead and other, it's, petroleum gets burned. So,
so you think we might need a special meeting next week?
yeah, I think we might need to do that for, just to, put the contract out and do a sole source and say, yes. We're gonna do that.
So could that be maybe lunchtime?
Yes, I think it could be a quick, maybe lunchtime, whatever.
Cause you can't do it in the next 2 days, right? To get it to me for the 5th?
Maybe Kevin can help.
It would be interesting to research the permanent fund and see if funding could come from there for something like that.
I'd say that's a capital project in a weird kind of way.
Yeah, we're kind of like.
But, yeah. Yeah, I have it on my notes to look at permanent funding.
I was imagining that was your plan.
Yeah.
But we can all look it up in code too, so.
But just a heads up.
So we should look for an email from the clerk
We'll see.
about the possibilities.
See, I need to check in with Dottie too. I don't know if we're trying to.
And specials can be in 24 hours, so that's the whole idea. That way is that. Scramble.
Yeah, we just, we need to do it before the. Big shift. So we need to check in Friday.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. Right. We're after tea. I guess hearing no objection. I guess the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everyone. Thanks, Line.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deb.
Have a